This is Miss Lizzie, and I want to welcome you to the Queen Lizzie podcast. Together, we will go through the history of Rosewood, Florida, and watch as the once prosperous town rises out of the bloodshed, fire, and ash to reveal the people, the memory, and the legacy of Rosewood. Watch every Thursday on Facebook and YouTube, or listen to our story on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Hello, everybody. I am Lizzie Polly Robinson Brown Jenkins, representing not only the Rosewood Foundation, but the personal testimonies and history of cherished friends and family. You are now watching the Queen Lizzie podcast. Today, we are talking with Yvens Pierre-Antoine. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you.
I am overly excited to have you back so we can catch up where we left off, or we can introduce new information.
Yes, I think one of the things that we were talking about earlier is kids. We, especially in the juvenile system.
Yes.
We've had an increase of kids involved in the criminal justice system. And one of the things that I'm hoping, there are really two things. One, we're seeing an influx of firearms with the young kids are dealing with. We also see a lack of structure for these kids.
Yes.
We have a lot of single parents who are overwhelmed with what's going on. We got to figure out how to do that and encourage them to take advantage of the resources that are out there for them. Where's their after school care? And you also got kids who are dealing with trauma as well. You know, kids who've lost friends on the streets.
Right.
They've kids who've been separated from. We talk about single parents, and then we got kids who another parent is not involved in their lives, and that can be extremely traumatic. And
it is them. For me, and I just hear about it, so I know when they are personally involved, it's traumatizing.
It's very traumatizing because a lot of times, especially young boys, they look at who they are through the lens of the father, and when the father is not present in their lives, it affects their self-esteem and the like. And quite frankly, a lot of times I think the mothers are trying to do the best that they can, but they're overwhelmed because, you really do need, the Bible talks to me, you do need two people to raise,
Yes.
It's a teamwork thing. It's a lot of work to raise a child. And unfortunately, we have kids who don't have that structure, who don't have that male figure in their lives, et cetera. Because, I'll give you an example. I remember one time when I was representing a young kid, he got in trouble. And he was supposed to go to, he was involved in basketball class. And it turns out that this young man was involved in a basketball team, and he was supposed to be playing travel basketball. And so when we were finding out about his grades, come to find out, he was failing basketball class in school.
Really?
So
really?
Exactly. So the thing that, made me scratch my head is that, the mother still wanted to have travel basketball available to him. I know she spent money on it, but the fact of the matter is he was failing basketball.
Oh my!
So it was an opportunity to a lesson,
right,
to be taught there.
Yes,
but it wasn't. And I think there are other small examples like that, where there's an opportunity to provide structure for these kids, and it's not being done. And then what happens is that when they get older, and they do get in trouble, in the state of Florida, when you get in trouble in the criminal justice system, there's a score sheet. Like everything, what you do as a juvenile doesn't always go away right away.
Okay.
Right? So, like, let's say if you one of the popular things that's happening now is people are breaking into vehicles.
Okay.
Right? They're just going in there, breaking into vehicles, and they're grabbing whatever they can, and then they leave. And what happens with that is that if you break into a bunch of vehicles, that's burglary of a structure, you get in trouble the first time when you get an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Those previous convictions are going to be there from the juvenile.
Exactly.
And then what's going to happen is that you're going to score prison. And you're not going to be aware. Oftentimes the kids are not aware of that. And then, when they get, when they're charged with their first adult charges, and they look at the score sheet, and then they're shocked at the fact that they score prison.
Yes. How did this get here?
How did this get here, or what have you? They're like, well, I thought this doesn't count, but actually it does. There's a record that's being accumulated, and the judge also looks at your previous criminal history as far as in juveniles as well. So we really gotta focus on teaching these kids at an early age. Look, you don't want to go there, and this is not a situation where everything gets forgiven. This is a situation where it's being documented.
Exactly.
It goes away if you don't pursue other criminal activities when you get older. So we got to really be careful and focus on telling these kids. And I remember one time you were telling me earlier that you worked as a guardian advocate when parents weren't there in court.
Exactly.
And what did you think about that when you were there?
My first thought, where are the parents?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and like you said, many of them are overwhelmed. They are single parents. So I was there as an advocate, and I felt like a stand-in. I felt really proud to be there, but there wasn't anything I could do. After I left them, or we went in different directions, I didn't see them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it really burned me out because I grew up in a 2-parent home.
Mm-hmm.
Rules, strict. Oh my God, my dad did not tolerate anything, and I appreciate that. But these kids do not know what it is to live in a 2-parent home.
No, they don't.
And there is so much need still there. Like you were talking about gun control. I did an interview with, I don't know if you know Tanya Smith. She works at the state attorney's office.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
She is working hard with a group of kids, period. And we are going to get together and see what we can do to kind of like curb some of what is going on, or not curb if we can't, just be involved.
I think that's extremely important. I think one of the things that I would love to have happen, I think we need to have more male figures involved in these things.
Yes.
In the past, I've worked with Mirror Image, and I've recently joined the board of directors for Made for More, which they specifically target. Mirror Image targets kids 6th through 8th grade. Mm-hmm. And the great thing about what they do is they expose the kids to a lot of different things. The key is for them is to get them out the city, the state, and the country before they go to high school. So oftentimes what happens when you recognize that there are different things available to you, as far as outside your community, outside your neighborhood, outside your block, you act differently when you get outside, when you act accordingly. Whereas when you feel like there's no hope, there's nothing out there for you, you may act a lot differently,
Exactly.
So one of the things that I think we need those things. And Made for More also, I just recently joined the board of directors, and they target kids in the schools specifically. They go into some of the middle schools and some of the high schools so that we can provide insight to the kids and witness to them and show them things that they may not be aware of, where it's talking about credit, avoiding the criminal justice system and things of that nature. It needs to be something that we got to work together.
We got to work together
and get these things done.
Exactly.
And again, I think it's great to have people involved, but I think having more male figures, because a lot of times these kids don't have strong men in their lives, and they don't know what strength looks like.
Exactly.
A lot of times what happens is that, I would tell them, cursing somebody out doesn't really solve the issue. I mean, you got to be more intentional and direct with whatever the issue is. And So we need to teach them how to deal with corporate America, how to deal with circumstances, because you're gonna face challenges in life.
Exactly.
You know, things don't always happen the way you want it to happen.
Right.
And so it's important that we work on that. So those are the passions that I have. And again, these are problems that we have in our community. And the only way we're going to solve them is that we're going to have to work. We have to be intentional. We've got to be intentional. We got to work together and about them. I know that's really important for you.
Yes.
And
yes, it is.
I think sometimes too we don't realize that. The Bible talks about the least of these, and I think we really got to focus on it because our community is going to benefit from that.
Exactly, and I am very aware of mirror image because a couple of times last year, year before, 3 years ago, they brought them out to my farm where we were going to build the museum. Telephones, no one had to tell them to put them away.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
They could not believe the property they saw. And they wanted to play in the dirt. They did. And they had a ball. They enjoyed themselves. And they explored and they got along. They were all friendly to each other. And the directors, the persons in charge couldn't believe it because they said these are what they call afternoon house kids. They don't, when they get home,
they don't go nowhere.
They don't go anywhere. I can't imagine they don't go anywhere if they live in apartments. That's all they are daily. They are to school, back home, on the sofa, on the telephone.
Yeah.
He did not have to tell them to put their phones away. Automatically, no phone. They came out on a bus. They've been there twice. And they're ready to come back, and they take them everywhere. To Africa, right?
Yeah, they took them to Africa. Last year, they took them to Africa. I think this time they're looking, I actually talked to the executive director the other day. I think they're looking at taking them to Jamaica.
Okay.
But the price is pretty steep in
I
Africa.
know.
But just the fact the first trip was to Africa.
I know.
Oh, man, that is truly amazing that they were able to go there. And what I think too is that it has a lasting impact on them.
It does.
I mean, it's amazing.
It does.
But yeah, I mean, it's Made for More again. They do the similar things. I mean, I think it's important that we all work together, and really work at solving some of these issues. My hope is that at some point that maybe there's some collaboration between different organizations.
Yes.
And try to see, because my mom used to always have a saying that this is the way what she used to tell us to get through the chores. Like she used to say, "Look, I can't do it all.
Right.
Many hands make everything lighter.
Yes.
Yeah, the lighter load, exactly. So she didn't. She used to tell us that she can't carry the whole load by herself.
Exactly.
And and then of course she resorted to spanking after.
That worked too. Every day for me.
Yeah.
I was something else. I was so
me too.
mischievous. I was.
Me too. But I'm gonna tell you something though. As tough as my mom, it's always good to have that father there in their background. Because for me, that was the threat.
Exactly. It was. My dad never whipped me, but my mom, it was a daily chore almost for her.
Oh.
And you know why? Because whenever Mom disciplined me, switches, I always said to her, I'm going to tell my daddy. She did not like that. That meant another one. And I would say to her, dummy, I'm still going to tell my dad.
Oh, my goodness.
And I did. At dinner table.
Oh, my goodness.
We were not allowed to talk. We ate after the Bible verse. And Dad would always, but I always talked. The other 3 siblings didn't. I said, Daddy, Mama beat me today. He said, what did you do? Nothing. But I told it. The next day, same thing. But in spite of all of that, I made it through. Well disciplined, but I was something else.
Yeah, I mean, it's but that that really works. I think it has it affects you because it provides structure.
Yes.
And I think that's something that is needed in our kids' life. The kids do want structure.
They
And
do.
it may not feel good, but it's warranted. It's needed.
It is. It is needed. And I remember when I was teaching school, there were single parents, and I didn't appreciate the way some of the kids talked to their parents, and I would always get involved with the discipline. Wasn't my business, but I did get involved. So whether they heard me or not, I think they did. I appreciate what the parents and I agreed on.
Okay.
To work with these kids to save them.
Yeah.
Okay, it's about time for our first half. We are going to head to a quick break, and we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
I am Black History.
I am Rosewood Black History. I am Florida and America's Black History, and you are too.
January 1st, 1923, the KKK insurrectionists attacked Rosewood, killing 5, burning it down.
Because a white woman lied and cried, a black man assaulted me. Rosewood redevelopment is on its way.
Want to help? Visit rosewoodflorida.com.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, 2 things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured,
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
and our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
Welcome back to Queen Lizzie Podcast, brought to you weekly from the Steve Spurrier Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. We are here with Yvens, Pierre-Antoine. The Queen Lizzie Podcast is brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union, live from the Meldon Law Gator Studios at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. We are back.
Thank you again, Miss Queen Lizzie. It's an honor to sit next to you and have a great conversation. What you do in our community is truly amazing, and your heart, as far as Rosewood, what you're doing for that organization is truly amazing. I mean, you are planting seeds and keeping alive the history. And I really applaud you. It's I remember seeing the movie. I didn't know anything about what happened in Rosewood until I saw the movie. Then I became interested in finding out about it, and Lord and behold, later I moved to Alachua County, which is not that far from Rosewood.
Exactly,
you know,
because you were supposed to meet me.
Yeah. You see, exactly. You see, yes. God works. God works in mysterious ways. Yes. I would have never known. I mean, it was actually I watched the movie on a date with my wife. It was one of the first dates that we had, and we both. I loved the movie. It was great, and but it's important that these stories are not forgotten and they're told. I know a lot of times in our schools. They're not being promoted. They're not encouraged. They're actually discouraged.
Exactly.
And what they want is that people to forget about it. But what they got to understand is not about. It's a really uplifting story, where it's overcoming challenges and ignorance and evil.
Yes.
You know, evil actions.
Yes.
You know, and. It's a great story about overcoming some of these things and perseverance and survival. You know, and also I just remember the last time we talked about, you know, the people that sacrificed or took risks. They didn't have to come in to help, and they did.
Exactly, that's important.
That's so important. I mean, we it's a human story, and
it is. And
we got to keep it going, and we got to spread those things and in our history. I mean, the one question it just popped in my head. I was just thinking, do you work with the schools to share the story?
Oh yes. I have shared the story over the years to almost every school in Alachua County. I have spoken at the University of Florida 29 times.
Whew.
Free, okay, Did not charge anything.
Wow.
The kids in college would call, especially my sorority, and the young lady I was talking about on my phone. When she was there for 4 years, she worked with me 4 years on Rosewood history. She planned trips to Rosewood.
Wow.
NAACP, she was the chairperson of NAACP. She did it all. Her concentration was on history, not on hazing. She was awesome, and she still is today. She is my good friend. I have all of the respect. I have a lot of respect for her because she worked diligently to keep that history alive. And yes, I have spoken to people. And yes, I was, at the end of this month, no, January 30th, I was in Orlando to a conference. My international Grand Basileus, Grand President, was in attendance. And I said to her when I saw her, I've known her for years, so I said to her, "You don't remember me." She said, "I don't think so." However, I said to her, when you ran for third anti-president of our sorority in Louisiana, I said, I was holding signs promoting your campaign. She said, "No, it was in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I remember you." I told her about Rosewood and what I was doing. Instantly, her mouth, I had her attention. So later that day, we got an opportunity to take pictures with the Gainesville chapter. It was 22 sorors there, and she said to them, "We are going to work with Rosewood."
Okay.
She said, "That I am learning about as we speak, and we are going to archive that history, and we are going to make things happen."
I think that is so important. I mean, I can't. It's just it's really. I mean, there are people who are probably never would have heard about Rosewood if it hadn't been for you.
Thank you.
You know,
Thanks to my mother.
the one who applied the
Educated.
ride.
Yes. Yes, she saw something in me. Okay, she had to change my attitude. But you know what? When she gave me this assignment, I said, "I don't want to do it, Mom." I was still belligerent. Not belligerent. I just didn't want to do it. And I let her know. I said, "Mom, it's too painful. I don't want to spend my life telling a story about Rosewood, which is so ugly and so painful, because I lived in 1940-ish. I lived the Jim Crow. I remember we had to step off the sidewalk. Okay, my mom was brave. My dad, not a coward, but he was scared to death of white men because they knew that we were related to Rosewood because my mom's sister was the teacher there. And he was scared to death because they would come to our house in Jeeps at night and rev their motors to let us know that we better keep our mouths shut.
Wow.
Okay. And but my mom was not afraid of anybody. She carried a 38 in her bra and a switchblade. She didn't play. Okay, she had to protect her 4 little children and her husband.
Goodness. Oh my
so
goodness.
I've been there, done that, and I want to make sure I tell you the name of my international Grand President. We have chapters in Africa also. Her name is Dr. Stacy Grant.
Okay.
Hello, Dr. Grant.
Hello,
Sarah.
Dr. Grant.
We love you here in Florida.
We do. We do. Thank you for recognizing Rosewood and embracing the story.
Yes, and we're going to work together to make other things happen. Reach out to children because we have youth groups, okay, that we teach our history to. We just want to have to come together and teach more and more and more.
Okay, I think it's important. I think it's needed because, again, the stories are not being encouraged in the public school system.
Right.
And there are a lot of kids who really grew up in this area not knowing too much about it. Have you guys ever done, I know Black History Month just passed, maybe a time, a day in the month of maybe February to do like a ceremony out in that area?
We didn't because the property is private and we are not Well, it's private, and we are not allowed on it. Although the marker is there, but there's not very much space. This is what I'm doing this year on my aunt's birthday, which is Memorial Day. Her
Okay.
birthday is May 25th.
Okay.
And there are many people will be in town, nothing to do. So we're inviting them to Archer.
Okay.
And we are going to bring us together and recognize her on her birthday. Did you all hear? Definitely, if you want to get involved, we need vendors. Please get involved and help us remember our history. Bring your kids, okay? And we can, if you want to plan something, to do something, song, dance, whatever, poem, be there. Okay, this is her day. She would have been 132 years, maybe more. Okay, she died in 1948. You can figure out how old she would have been. She was 54. She lived a very uncomfortable life. She ran. She moved 5 times, changed her name 6 times. Believed committed suicide because after she died, Mom and I found a letter that she had written to the doctor she worked for after Rosewood in order to survive. She took a job as a cook, and she taught their 4 kids. They never knew about Rosewood. She never told them.
Wow.
But when she got tired of Jacksonville, she packed up, came home. When I say home, she came to Archer.
Wow.
Okay, and lived with us. That's why I say people that, men, KKK men that didn't want us to talk, they followed her. So in 1945, after she died, Mom and I were looking through her files, and we found this letter that she had written to the doctor. We didn't find that letter. We found the reply, and she had asked the doctor, Dr. Rollins, to send her some strychnine. And his comment to her, if you have high blood pressure, make sure you drink lots of water with it. I can't figure out why he would send it to her, but she requested it. They were trying so hard to get her to return and come back to work for them.
Wow.
She was not going to hear that. So after then, she didn't stop. She was a go-getter. She was without a job when she moved back to Archer. She was broke. She didn't have a car, so she said, and she lived with us, and she said to my dad one day, Brother Yuri, may I borrow your car? And he said, sure. She went to Brunson. She found the sheriff who had helped them escape Rosewood
Wow.
in 1923. And when he saw her, my mom said he almost passed out. Gussie, what are you doing here?
Wow.
He didn't say it pleasantly. Gussie, harsh. Because he was still scared too.
Because he helped her.
Exactly.
And that information leaked out.
Yes.
It would be, oh, you're one of them, or you're helping
Yes.
one of them, that type of thing.
Exactly.
Wow.
She told me, she said, I need a job, I'm broke, and there's a principal's vacancy in Gulf Hammer. He said, get in your car and get out of here.
Wow.
She did just that. He said, you'll hear from me in a few days. In a few days, he brought her a contract for that position. I have the carbon copy of it.
Wow.
So I am a history keeper.
Yes, you are. You are a history keeper.
Yeah, I am.
You are a holder of history.
Yeah.
You're an evidence custodian.
I'll take it. Sounds good to me.
You're the evidence custodian.
Yes.
In the law, like in a business, there's somebody who's in charge of holding all the records.
Yes.
And you are a record keeper.
I am a record
and God bless you for that, because it's amazing. The scary thing is I could easily see how things like Rosewood could easily disappear.
Yes.
From history.
Yes.
And the work that you're doing, it's so important, because if the history of this era is going to be told, and you cannot tell that history without Rosewood.
Exactly.
You cannot.
Exactly. And I appreciate those words, and I also appreciate Steve Spurrier, Freddie Weeby, Meldon Law, and Jerry Bennett, because they believe in me. they believe in Rosewood history.
And that's important, and I'm glad that they work with you and support you in your mission
Yes.
to spread the word about Rosewood, and it's a very important mission.
Yes,
and
it
so
is.
God bless you for what you're doing.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
I am continuously humbled and honored and blessed to meet people daily and invite them to join in peace building, healing, and reconciliation through learning about the history of Rosewood. That will wrap up today's episode. I'm Yvens Pierre-Antoine. Until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye. Awesome.